Hi guys, so today I'm making some dub techno and I'm using Operator. It's got to be one of my favourite synths in Ableton. So yeah, this set will be available via my Patreon, and there'll be a link in the comments. And I'm going into the amp envelope on oscillator A, I'm giving it a bit of release and a bit of attack just to smoothen it out a bit. Changing it to a saw wave. It's going to shift it down an octave. So over on oscillator B here, I'm just going to copy all the settings from oscillator A, the amp envelope and the saw wave. And I'm changing the oscillators to serial mode, so it's not an FM synth, and I'm changing the fine tune on oscillator B, so it's getting detuned against the other saw wave, so it's kind of like a Reese bass line. Over in the filter here, I'm giving it some attack, a bunch of decay, turning the sustain down, and a bunch of release. And I'm giving the envelope a negative value. It's just a different way of approaching dub chords, where instead of having the filter like down and then having a really fast envelope rising upwards, you start with the filter up, give it a bunch of attack, so the filter starts open and then like closes, and then opens back up with the decay. So over in the shaper section here, I'm changing it to 4-bit, so we get a bit of bit crushing, and I'm turning the mix down on that, so it's not too harsh. It's just like subtle, and it just helps to dirty up the sound and add a bit of noise into the signal in a really nice way for like kind of like lo-fi dub chords. So I'm dropping Ableton's echo delay on there. So I'm just going to give it some high pass. Just turning it up a bit. So I'm mapping the velocity to the filter frequency. On this second note here, I'm going to reduce the velocity. Like, velocity is your best friend when it comes to like editing synths. So just copy this note across and maybe pitch it up. So yeah, messing about with the time parameter here on operator yields good results. You can also map the time to the velocity. So you get a bit of a variation with the time parameter, lengthening or shortening the envelopes. So yeah, I put a phaser on here. Just helps to add a bit more movement to the sound. So this echo device actually comes with a mod for the filters. Just going to unsync it and turn the rate down a bit. And it also has a mod here for the time, so it gives it a little bit of repitching effect. I'm not sure what this envelope does. So I'm just going to put an auto filter on here, give it a bit of modulation, and it just adds a bit more interest to the sound, makes it a bit less static. By the way, this patch will be available on my Patreon, and there'll be a link in the comments. So a favourite effect of mine is this auto pan. I find it's nice to have a bit of panning going on. I'm just going to EQ out some of the lows here. And to cut some of the harsh frequencies up in the high end. Next I'm putting overdrive. So I'm putting a Max for Live LFO on there, and I'm mapping that to the frequency on the overdrive filter, just so we get a subtle bit of movement going on. Let's see if I can increase the time amount here, and it'll just make all the envelopes like longer. So I'm just duplicating the MIDI clip here and messing about with the velocity to add variation. So there's too much release, so I'm reducing the time parameter. So now it's time to get going with the drums, and I'm using Ableton's 909 core kit. So I'm just going to do the standard offbeat hi-hat. But I'm going to put in like these little 16th notes here and add a bit of swing and just reduce the velocity. So you can hardly hear them, but they add like a subtle groove to the drums. So I'll just duplicate the clip and I'm putting a clap here. So just try to work quickly with your drum patterns, and there's a lot of trial and error when you're making when you're programming drums. So for that clap, I'm going to copy the delay over from the dub chord and put it on that clap. And that will kind of make the drums feel like they belong to the dub chords in a way. So I'm going to put a compressor on that clap, like after the big delay reverb. I find compression sounds really good on percussion, like post reverb. I'm just making it mono so it doesn't confuse the stereo field, and I'm using some really heavy compression. I'm going to try putting some reverb on these hats. Just going with a preset and just trying to make it a bit more subtle. I think one of the keys to working with drums and electronic music is just to work quickly and like don't get lost for hours just trying to find the perfect hi-hat sound. Just yeah, otherwise you'll never finish any music. So just work quickly and the faster you program the song and start actually sequencing in arrangement view, the more clear the picture will become as to what the song needs. Yeah, I think that will kind of work for now. I'm just going to mess about with the levels here. Again, don't spend forever trying to set the levels perfectly. Just set a rough level and keep moving forwards. So I'm back over in the dub chord, and I'm just going to mess about with the MIDI clip. Just going to change like note positions and velocities. So I think I'm going to put a filter on these drums. Give it some drive. So I want to sidechain the dub techno chords to the kick drum. So we got the compressor, and I'm setting the input coming from the 909 kick drum, and it just helps to gel the mix together. So you can adjust the release setting so it kind of grooves with the song. Depending on how you feel. So on the master channel here, I'm going to put a glue compressor, and I'm turning on soft clipping. I'm turning the gain up. Filtering the kick drum with a low pass filter. Messing about here with the kick drum pattern. So just going to bring the gain up here on the compressor so we've got a bit of soft clipping going on. just a very subtle amount. It just helps to add to that whole lo-fi vibe and gel the mix together even more. So what I'm doing now is grabbing a Foley sample. I've got a sample of some birds singing. I'm just going to copy this sidechain compression over. So I'm just going to loop this section here and put an EQ on there. I'm just going to cut out a bunch of the low end and so we keep all the highs, and it's just like you'll be able to hear the birds but also all the noise from the recording, and as it's sidechained to the kick, it kind of helps the groove of the song in a way, and as the drums are filtered, right, the 909 drums are completely filtered, right, so there's not much high end, so we've got this bird sample with a bunch of noise sidechain to the kick. It helps to fill out the top end of the song and add to the groove, and just adds to that whole lo-fi feel. And also you've got the nature element in there, which is always nice to have. I'm back in the dub chord MIDI clip here, and I'm just going to mess about with the velocities. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.